All right, so yeah, welcome back. This is part two featuring David Evett. Last week they featured Ziegenbach and I don't remember some other beer, but this week we're going to go over the most expensive beer ever to be on this vlog. So yeah, definitely hang around to the end because that's an interesting beer at I think $11 for per 12-ounce beer, so you can kind of get the point. But before we get started, just want to let everybody know if you like our content, you like what we're doing here, you want to see it grow, become more, bigger, better, as well as be able to get out there and see, smaller breweries and that kind of stuff, kind of tour around a little bit more. We've started a Patreon page. We'll have the link down below. But yeah, so you can, help us out. Go down there and become a Patreon. We're going to start doing special content just for our Patreon members. So, yeah, do that. Well, without anything further to say, let's get to the video, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, this one I'm very excited about. Make sure you clean your glass. All right, bottle opener.
Founders.
Excited. Founders is fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right. Founders Blushing Monk. This is a Belgian ale. And what'd you do with the bottle cap? It's got a little note for us. It's brewed for us. Founders. When our love of fruit and our love of beer came together, Blushing Monk happens. Brewed with a ridiculous amount of raspberries for tart yet luscious raspberry jam character and fermented in Belgian yeast. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? With subtle fruit and spice notes, think of Blushing Monk as a ridiculous older sibling, more intense, slightly larger, and just a bit more mature. So to separate this one, it does not, more than likely this does use Saccharomycin, and you can see the ABV is 9.2. So another thing I didn't mention with wild yeast is more difficult to control. In an environment, they're going to be able to brew that beer and almost always make it the same way, whereas Lambic may not be able to because it has the environment involved. And what do we know about the environment? It's always changing. I had this beer last night, and I'm very excited to share it with you here, Brian. So with that being said, let's get into it.
And starting off, look at the color. I mean, fantastic. Fantastic color. Not much of a head on it.
But once again, you see like the difference in the bubble sizes.
Oh, yeah.
You can see some of them are big, some of them are small. It does dissipate a little quickly. Very clear head. And you can still see a little bit of rising bubbles. What are you getting on the nose?
Fruity. Naturally, there's a little bit of wheat. What is that?
It smells so good. It's lovely.
Am I getting a little bit of... Have you ever, short tangent, have you ever drank cider or raw cider? Or
Yeah.
Been in the fermentation process? And you know how it has, in the early stages, it has a very chemical pungent smell?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, I don't want to misquote, but it is a very particular chemical. I may be imagining, but I thought I had a faint smell of that chemical, or it's something similar.
I'm getting a lot of the sweet raspberries, kind of candied raspberries, a little bit of tartness. And the particular breadiness I'm getting is really crumbly pie crust, is what I keep getting off of it. Like, it reminds me a lot of, not the graham cracker pie crust, but just like a homemade pie crust, like your mom or your auntie would make. You know,
Just like Meemaw used to make.
Just like Meemaw used to make, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You ready for the first pull?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Let's go.
That is very different. I mean, if you put Founders next to
Next to the
I'm
Lambic.
so sorry, Lambic. I mean,
Letterman's Lambic.
Letterman's
Lambic is a type of beer. I keep calling it Lambic, but it's actually Letterman's.
If you put Founders next to Letterman's, I mean, it. As you mentioned, they're very similar in the process of making it.
Well, this one has a different kind of yeast, so
And
it's just kind of the
amazing how
things
the
that they're
stark-
using.
But the stark differences are just set at worlds apart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and these are two different beers, almost for two different situations.
They're from two different countries. Yeah.
Exactly.
Different parts of the world altogether. And you can tell. So what tasting notes would you say that you're getting that are different from this one?
Nowhere near as fruity. This to me tastes more like a beer than the Letterman's.
Mm.
Far more like an actual beer.
Right.
Whereas the Letterman's was more of a wine.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed it, but it was much more of a wine. This is much more like a beer. I like that very much.
So I'm going to go ahead and get my tasting notes on it.
What's that bite? I know there's a
You
bite
get-
back there.
It's because of the tartness. You get a mouthfeel, lots of raspberry, but because of the yeast, you're also getting a tartness. I'm calling it blackberry and blueberry in particular. It's just a wild berry experience. And after it lingers a little bit, you're getting more of that crustiness. You're getting that like pie crust thing going on from the residual sugars. And it reminds me a lot of a berry cobbler. Like the crust itself, it's breaking apart into the syrup, and you still have the tartness of the berries, but you have the sweetness of the granulated sugar that's placed into the cobbler. Very similar to like a raspberry or wild berry cobbler, in my opinion. This is a fantastic beer. And as it said, it's a beer for us.
How did they know?
How did they know? All right, everybody. That being said, we're going to take a quick break, clean our glasses, and get ready for the unboxing. All right, everybody, we're back. We want to cleanse our palates and clean our glasses real quick in order to properly commemorate this brilliant beer, Wild Acre Thunderhug. This is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, 13.7 ABV, World Beer Cup Gold Award winner in 2018. Notes on the back of the box. Taste the thunder. We originally brewed Thunderhug in December of 2016 as the first barrel-aged beer we ever attempted. Our intentions were to create a daring and bold Imperial Stout for the true craft of beer. For the true craft beer lover. During the coldest time of the year, we use the world's best ingredients and patiently let it rest in bourbon barrels for an entire calendar year. We did not name it until we drank it. It was then loud, frightening, and yet calming all at the same time. It was difficult to grasp, and this is how Thunderhug was born. Like thunder itself, Thunderhug came and went fast. It earned gold at the world's most prestigious beer competition, the World Beer Cup in 2018. Many of you have since asked when Thunderhug will return. The time is now. and it is even better than before with a little help from our friends at Fort Worth's own Firestone and Robertson's Distilling Company, aged for 1 year in Texas barrels. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. You made that very intense.
To finish it off, we endeavored to wow with Thunderhug's Encore, the single element which could improve the product most would be the highest quality, most recent harvested bourbon barrels we could possibly procure into our friends at Firestone and Robertson Distilling Company. We worked together to coordinate brewing Thunderhug at the time they harvested barrels of their award-winning TX bourbon. You will not find a barrel-aged beer placed in fresher barrels, period. The result is unique richness and flavor intensity that you'll only experience and produce a curated so lovingly and potentially carefully amazing beer.
Cue the heavenly music.
The thunder. Let's get to the unboxing. I know we're all excited. I just want to rip it apart. Just get in there. So when I first bought this, I really thought it was just going to be one long bottle. And I was genuinely surprised when I pulled one can out.
Oh.
I was just like, they ripped me off! And I was like, oh, there's another can in here.
Okay. That is a gorgeous can. Look at that. Fantastic. I'm really digging this can.
Does the can say anything? What's the can say?
Thunder.
Read it out for us in your robust Viking voice.
Thunderhug.
Thunderhug.
We have the power. Barrel aged Imperial Stout. I see. And they put on here, I'm very proud to commemorate their award at the World Beer Cup 2018. Heck yes. Warning, may cause a good time. I like it.
I believe it.
It did not actually say that, but it might as well.
It might as well. Let's get into it.
Mike.
I'm too excited to hold off anymore. I could sit here and go on a tangent on what an Imperial Stout is or some nonsense like that. No. Not yet. We'll do it later. We'll do it in a minute.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man. Look at the amber color on that head. That is gorgeous. And look at the dispersion in the bubbles.
Oh, yeah. It's even better. This is a big reason why you want to use a larger mouthed glass. And this is really a good example. Look at the Rocky Mountain forming. You can see that they're all really attached. Some are bigger than others. And that's really the type of head you want to look for. You can tell that this has touched some wood, much like your mother.
I wouldn't be here.
Otherwise, you're the proof. Let's get into the nose, because I could sit here and I want to get into it. Ooh, that's lovely. That's complex. What are you getting?
Immediately off the bat, sweet fruitiness.
Like a dark fruit, like pomegranates.
Has a hefty smell. Like it definitely. Well,
I'm getting.
the weed is definitely.
You can get the oak on it too. I'm getting a lot of dark fruits. I'd say it's got some blackberry, pomegranate. You can smell the tannins on it as well. A little bit of coffee, maybe.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, now that
There's
you say
also
that.
another kind of sweetness there too, like maybe a vanilla.
So now more prevalent when you say that.
Baking syrup. It's got some baking syrup going on there. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like pure cane syrup kind of thing going on. Oh, man.
Oh man, I don't think I can wait.
Let's go.
Can we get to the tasting?
Let's get
If you
to the
don't mind,
tasting.
you're-
I want to hear your notes first.
The suspense is killing me.
We got to taste the thunder.
The coffee notes are very, very strong after you drink it.
Mm.
I love that.
Oh, fantastic coffee notes.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and when it sits on your palate, dude. So the coffee comes in and it dissipates, gives you a little bit of vanilla, and the coffee comes back. Oh, that's fantastic. That's layers of flavor right there. What are you getting on it other than coffee?
When there's an official kind of like, not official, excuse me, there's an initial kind of fruity bite that kind of rolls through, and then, overwashed with the coffee and bitterness.
I don't know if I got the fruit.
It's very faint. It's not prevalent when you drink it as much as when you smell it.
Yeah, you can smell it. Like, it's there.
You can smell it a lot better than you can drink, can taste it. Excuse me. That is a delicious stout. This heavily reminds me of milk stout, but in my opinion, better.
It could be a type of milk stout. The term imperial stout is actually...
Oh, I meant left hand.
Left hand, yeah. Milk stout nitro, fantastic beer. But the term imperial stout is normally used to just show the proof of the beer.
Yeah.
So, in particular, Russian imperials were brewing just really strong beer, and that's where the term imperial stout came into play. It's just another way to refer to something as higher proof. And I gotta give my tasting notes. Instant coffee. You do get some pomegranate there, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
It dissipates a little bit. The coffee overtakes it. It sits on your palate, dissipates, becomes like a dark chocolate with some vanilla. And then, like I said, it comes back with just even more coffee. And even now, I'm still tasting this. Like, I've still got some beautiful dark chocolate bitterness on the back of my throat. And now that I breathe and it kind of like oxidizes a little bit, I'm getting a little bit of maybe like a chili or something like that. Like on the very end of the evolution, like some kind of chili. You know what I'm saying? Like a sweet, like a chipotle kind of thing.
I'm getting some remnants when I was just kind of letting it, milking in and sitting there, and the oak barrel a little bit, just a hair, or there's some sort of kind of earthiness.
The oak is where we're getting a lot of that vanilla, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting much caramel in this.
That's really good.
That was fantastic beer. That was just lovely. With that being said, would you say that's the best beer we've had tonight? It's a tough one.
It's a very tough one.
We've had some good beers tonight.
And my own preconcepts and my own prejudice might alter that. The Blossom Monk?
Blushing
Monk, excuse me. The Blushing Monk that was a game changer, honestly. Blushing Monk, when you brought that one out, I wasn't expecting to... I knew I would like it, I wasn't expecting to like it that much. And then, of course, it's just, for in this kind of situation, it's almost like there are no winners. You just kind of have a winner for different occasions. You have this beer for the cold winter nights when you just want to relax at the end of the day by a fire, and then you have the Blushing Monk for whenever you are not by a fire in a winter night. So you have two occasions right there. I'll let you all fill in the rest.
And that's a very valid point, and that's a good point, because all of these beers are fantastic in their own way. They're great for certain things. Mm-hmm. And even the Ziegenbock, which had the
Even
least.
the cheapest on the.
Well, it had the least complexity, but it was also the cheapest one.
Yeah.
So Ziegenbach might be a good beer to have every day, every other day, depending on how much you drink. I'm not saying you should drink every day. Not that we don't or do. But the other ones, they're a little more pricey. They're a little more difficult to get a hold of. This Wild Acre, I mean, the purveyor of the store I went to, she said they would only let her have one case. And the case was almost sold out. I bought the second to last one. So these are beers. Oh, and this is one box with 2 cans. Cost me $22. This is a $11 12-ounce can. This is the most expensive beer I've ever had, and currently the most expensive beer that has been on Mike's Beer Blog. I'm not looking forward to trying to break that record anytime soon because I have to pay for it. But yeah, this was fantastic. I do not regret my decision. Would you say that that's worth $10?
You know, honestly, Mike, yeah. It was something else. It was a wholly different, completely different experience.
Yeah, it's a game changer. And that's something I always tell people. Like, they when they don't want to get into craft brewing, and they just, I get it. Keystones are cheap. You get 15 of them for $10. Compare that to a Keystone. It's not even the same ball. It doesn't even exist next to one another.
Light years.
And light years apart. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I look forward to seeing y'all again. We're going to keep doing this. Thank you so much, David.
You got it.
It's always a fucking pleasure. You're welcome to come on anytime. If you want to come on Mike's Beer Blog, leave some comments, share, subscribe. Send me a message. Mike's Beer Blog on Facebook.com. Mike's Beer Blog, the website. Let me know that you want to come on. Give me a shout out. We'll drink some beer together. You don't even have to pay for it. It's fantastic. With that being said, spirits up. It's a good beer.
That's awesome, brother.
All right. That was a good episode, guys. Good job. Very enjoyable for me to edit. It was fun. We did have divided up into 2 pieces because, again, Mike likes to talk, but that's okay. You know, everybody likes to talk a little bit. That's okay. So, anyways, last week was the first time that we started featuring screenshots from Mike's Beer Blog, the group on Facebook, with just some of the drinks that y'all post in there and what you have to say about them. We also put up a video explaining this process, so make sure you're commenting that inside of the group, not the beer blog page. A little confusing, but you know, the group where you can actually post on the wall, because that's where I'll be pulling it from. So on May 6th, and I again apologize if I don't get any names right. That's always an apology. I'll do my absolute best. But Adelie Salazar, she is trying this here Soto or Sutu, I don't know, Soto Sake. Says down here super premium, 720 milliliter bottle, and it's either 15.5 or 16.5 alcohol by volume. So her statement, wish me luck tonight, and a smiley face with a tongue out emoji. Well, I wish you luck. Belated luck. I hope it was a good night. That's a lot of sake. Anyways, we got something in the background back there too. Pink Whitney. Okay, fair enough. All right, so next to that, let me go ahead and slide up here. I've got my computer right over here off screen. So let's go ahead and slide up. We've got Valerie Cherry. She says, love me a light summer beer. She found this at Walmart in Knack, and it is either May or Muy Importe. But anyways, Margarita Lager. It says on the side, our classic Mexican style lager is enhanced with agave, orange, lime, and sea salt. Huh. Sounds pretty interesting to me. Anyways, give these beers a try. Before we go, I got one too. This is Satan Red Belgian Ale. Now, I don't even know where to get this. I don't know if they still make it. This one's never been opened. I got it at Alamo Draft House in Austin in, well, probably 2011. That's how old this beer is. I've just been kind of keeping it. I made sure to keep, I brought a 6-pack back, or I snuck several of them out of the theater. I don't remember if it was a full 6-pack, but snuck them back out of the theater. And anyways, brought one home and didn't ever open it. But yeah, Satan Red Belgian. It's kind of cool. And it's got a really, really cool top on it. Anyways, it sits on my cabinet up here. Generally, I have some others up there I'll show another time. But yeah, if you ever find that, let me know. I would very much like to have this beer again. If I recall correctly, it was pretty good. But it's just novel and a bit on the naughty side. Nonetheless, there you go. Satan Red Belgian Ale. Anyways, see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.